In this video tutorial series, we're going to cover Katana's barcode feature. So barcode feature is available on the advanced and above subscription plans. So in case you're on an essentials plan, you won't have access to the settings. You'll need to upgrade. To do an upgrade, you'll go to the top right corner, go to subscription, and then activate an advanced subscription plan either on monthly or annual. There's also a trial involved, so you can give it a shot just to see how it works. Once you've done so, the barcode section on the left will have some available settings here with toggle switches to turn on and off. And that's how you know it's working. So the details of what this video tutorial series will cover is it's intended to help new customers who've never dealt with barcodes before, help them get started, get their feet planted in the ground so they can start to use barcodes within their business for the first time. So we're going to take it very slow, going from the very high level and drilling down on how barcodes work within the workflows. Now, if you are also coming from a pre-existing platform where barcodes have been used and you already have like labels of barcodes on all of your inventory, you're going to want to know, how do I get that information into Katana so I can start using it? We're going to cover that as well. So without further ado, we can go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to talk about is, what is a barcode? A barcode is the zebra stripes that you see on any product that you buy in a grocery store. It's super simple. You take the items, you put them in your cart, you load them on the belt. When you get to the cash register, they go through a scanner, beep, and then that beep that you hear makes them visible on a screen, which you're looking at, which references the item and the price. And then beep, beep, beep. You're done in about 30 seconds for half a dozen items, and then you swipe your card and off you go out the door. If we didn't have barcode scanning available, then it would take a really long time to ring things up and pay for them, because what this does is it actually makes it quicker to scan an item, reference it, and then get you out the door in a more efficient and quick manner. And this is where barcodes come into play and help you do a business activity in a much quicker way. Saves money and increases productivity. So for example, that's a grocery store setting. Now you as a manufacturer, how do you use barcodes to improve the quality of life for data entry with respect to the items that are moving in and out of your inventory? Well, Katana supports 4 types of barcodes. And within a supply chain, you always have somebody who supplies you, then there's yourself, and then there's somebody you're selling to. And you typically, as a manufacturer, are going to be in the middle of that somehow. And the question is how do you work with barcodes as a manufacturer? So firstly, anybody who supplies items to you will likely have barcodes on the products they sell. And so this is something called a supplier item barcode. And Katana supports that as well in the case of receiving materials and products from a supplier. So any item that you buy in, which already has a pre-existing barcode, which means you don't have to make it, which makes things a lot easier. You simply can assign a barcode based on what the supplier gives you for that item. And this is really handy because sometimes if you buy one item that's in your stock from 10 different suppliers, but you only want to reference one item in your inventory, you can have as many supplier item codes as you need to recognize that item if what they sell is maybe different. Think about buying batteries. You can buy any variety of brands of batteries, but it still is a AA battery, and you could buy it from all of the different battery manufacturers, but each of those have a different barcode. So creating a barcode for the supplier helps you recognize those incoming goods, and in Katana, you can have a limitless supply of those to recognize one item within your own inventory. So that's how those work. The second type are internal barcodes. Now these are the ones you make and come up with as they relate to your warehouse operations. These are typically unique. So every single item, just as we encourage you to have a dedicated SKU for every variant, we also encourage you to have a dedicated and unique barcode for every single variant just as well, because a stock keeping unit is mainly using the barcode to recognize a specific SKU. So internal barcodes for warehouse management. Now, if you're new to this, the idea here is that you want to create unique barcodes for every item in your inventory if you've never barcoded anything in your inventory, but you still have inventory sitting in the shelf, we have the opportunity for you to generate barcodes automatically. And so if you're a new customer, this is something that you should definitely do, because if you've not barcoded any of your inventory in real life, generating automatic internal barcodes will ensure you have something very unique for every single item that's on your Katana items list. With barcodes for batches, of course, this won't apply to everyone. This will only apply to companies that are tracking batch numbers. But if you need to reference a specific group of material or products from inventory that are batch trackable, you'll need to use a unique batch barcode to reference a unique batch ID. So that batch barcode can automatically get created to ensure that you have uniqueness across all of the items that are batch trackable. So for example, every time you receive an incoming material that is batch trackable, you can create an automatic batch barcode for it once you assign a batch number to it. So batch number, batch barcode, those go hand in hand, but they're different. Batch number is the number in batch tracking side, but the batch barcode is what's used for the barcode scanner to reference it correctly. Also, whenever you're tracking ingredients from the manufacturing perspective, which are used, you'll need to pull up from which batch you're taking from, so you can scan the batch barcode and it will automatically pull up the batch number. This greatly reduces the manual entry that would typically go into it and thus lead to mistakes. So it's very useful to use the generate barcodes automatically feature if you're coming in fresh and new for all of your items, all of your batches in barcode tracking. So internal barcodes are something that you, as the manufacturing company for your warehouse, create yourself. Now, on the other hand, if you are using Katana for the first time, but have already previously come from another system that was using barcodes, and you have barcodes on all your items, then what's important at that stage for you is to get your barcode information into Katana for your existing items. So what you'll need to do is import your barcodes for all of your items, and also import your barcodes for all of your existing batches. These take time, but they're not impossible to do. That's how you bring them in as a new customer, automatically generate them. That's how you bring them in as a customer who's been using barcodes previously. You have to import them. The last type of barcode is something called a registered barcode. Now, we've already dealt with those who send us stuff as a supplier and those items that we do ourselves, but the last one is a registered barcode. So the best thing for you as a manufacturer is you're making products. So if you sell your products globally all around the world, you can register a universal barcode that's used by all of your retailers globally. So that way the item has not just a unique reference that goes back to you as the supplier, but also is a unique reference for the product that's being sold. This makes it a lot easier when it comes to selling those items to your retailers, and also for them listing them and selling them themselves, because it's a universal reference. So for example, if you're using something like Amazon Marketplace and you have a universal registered barcode, you'll probably use that barcode when you're selling through the Amazon Marketplace in general. So that's the first introductory to barcodes. And so next what we're going to go through is we're going to talk a bit more about importing, how to set up those barcodes, also importing them via spreadsheet for those who are already using them before using the Katana, but just need to get them into Katana. We'll talk about the different types of scanners and printers and barcode types, even though we covered these types of barcodes, but more specifically like 1D barcodes, 2D barcodes, as well as RFID type of barcodes. Secondly, after we cover those areas, then we're going to go further into printing barcodes and how you print them out to label them within your stock. And then after you have stock that's been labeled with printed barcodes, how do you use those barcodes when you're generating workflows with the items that are in your warehouse, for example. So hope you enjoyed this video tutorial series, and hope you'll find it useful.